Let's go. We're on again. Episode 23. I'm pretty sure. Welcome back if you're new. I'm Coach Prez, football coach, self-proclaimed blue belt philosopher, and I don't know what else, and many other things. What we do is we talk about sport, and we talk about getting better in sport and outside of sport, philosophy, and all that good stuff. So pretty much it's the beginning of the year now. I'm not even going to waste any time. Usually I waste a bit more time. Anyway, it's the beginning of the year. It's like today is the 11th of January. Probably going to upload this tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be the 12th. Last week, what did I do in my podcast? I was talking about philosophy, how to kind of get into philosophy if that's what you want to do, if you've decided to have a go, if you've decided to take on this journey. Okay, so because of that, I had to push back a little bit this video that I'm making now, this podcast, which is going to be about the new year. Okay, new year, new me, or new year, old me, old year, new. Anyway, that stuff, which is very, very common. Obviously, new year, for a lot of people, it's like, okay, fresh start, let's go, let's do something. And then they have a go. Some people last maybe like 2 weeks, 1 week, 1 month, but very, very few. Only a tiny percentage of people actually decide to make a change and they actually manage to pull it off. Okay, they make a change that lasts. So this is what I want to talk about, not just how to make a lasting change, but also about the year ahead, about kind of the mindset that is required from you if you actually want to make a change. Because ultimately, this is what it comes down to. Your mindset is what you believe, what you think, what goes on in your head. Okay? You're not going to stick to anything if you don't have that inner belief that what you're doing is worth it. So it comes down to the mindset. Now that we've established that, let's start actually picking up the pace and getting into it. How I approach my year. I know it's very... We need to... Before we start talking about approach, we need to understand. I got distracted. That's why I need to be on airplane mode. Anyway, let's get back to the video before I'm annoyed. Before approach, what do we need to address before approach? We need to address kind of why. Why are we doing it? Why do something like this? And the reason is because it's important. It is important. 1 year maybe doesn't make a change. Maybe it does. Most people cannot grasp the fact that 1 week makes a difference. 2 weeks make a difference. 1 month is gonna make a difference. 1 year can make a massive difference. But 1 year seems like, oh, that's such a long time. For most people, 1 month sounds like, oh, that's such a long time. Only if there is work to be done consistently. But you need to understand, start 1 week, just do 1 week, yeah? You need to be able to detach yourself from your current state. Or if you want to imagine that there is multiple versions of you, you want to detach your consciousness, let's put it that way, from your current self. Detach your consciousness and start traveling through space and time. Travel as far ahead in time as possible. Some people, they can't really imagine anything past 2 months. Some people maybe can imagine the future as far as 6 months. Some people maybe a year. Some people maybe 5 years. The more you do it, the better you get, okay? The better you get at detaching from your current self and imagining your future self. And almost you're trying to put yourself into your future self's boots and then work it and then reverse engineer everything else, kind of reverse engineer your life. What do you want to have when you're there in that position at that point in time? Let's say I'm 26 now, I'm going to be 27 this year. Where do I want to be when I'm 30? And I start reverse engineering things. Okay, I want to do this, 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 and that. And then I start addressing all the variables. I want to make sure that my prediction is based on things that rely like 99% on me. Okay, I don't want to base my prediction and my actions on something that is like likely to happen. There is a chance of this happening, or hopefully this. Okay, I want to try and make my prediction based on like worst case scenario, and based on things that are completely within my control. Okay, when I'm 30, I want to have a wife and a house, and I want to be making 10,000 a month. That's kind of too vague, too many variables. Okay, that's one thing. A lot of people can say that. Yeah, that's easy. Still possible. Is it gonna happen though? Maybe not. So forget about other people, families, and all this stuff. Okay, focus on yourself, because you can't really control other people. So family, girlfriends, all this, that's difficult to predict. Whether it's going to be that way or not, you don't really know. You can't really tell for sure. Okay, so be very conservative with your predictions. Okay, what I try to do is I go for worst case scenario. I have this, this, and that based on the work that I would have put in up until that point, if nothing changes. So worst case scenario, basically. Yeah. Again, worst case scenario meaning everything stays the same. Worst case scenario, I'm not saying if tomorrow I get hit by a car and then they need to chop off my leg. Okay, that's different. Okay, to prepare for this, we need to go into a different discussion. That discussion is more philosophical. So yeah, that's complete. I think I've talked about it before a little bit. We will talk about it in the future again. So we start preparing worst case scenario. And what I've seen, my motivation and my discipline, that's observation that I've got from how many years now I've been testing different things, maybe 6 years. I've been testing. Every new year I have goals. Okay, even this year I've written them down. The year before I wrote them down. The year before, 2022 or 23 or whatever it was, wrote them down. 22 wrote them down. Okay, every year I write down a lot of goals. Although I know half of them I'm not getting anywhere close to them, but I write them down and I keep that notebook or that list next to my head. I want to be seeing it all the time, just so a reminder. This is what I wrote down, yeah. So it keeps me accountable. So I write that stuff down. It's ultra optimistic. That's every year, and then start working. So just to get back to the original point, my observation is my ability to stick to my plan and to keep working and working and working has been impacted by a couple of things. One, the older I've gotten, the easier it's become to stick to my goals. That's one thing. But why though? We'll get to the why in a second. Two, the further ahead in the future I can put myself mentally. So the further I can travel mentally in the future and imagine the future, the easier it's been for me to stick to my goals. Does that make sense? But like, imagine it realistically. Maybe for this, you maybe need a couple of years of experience just from adult life, you know. 'Cause when I was 19, I thought I still didn't understand, like, okay, what is it going to be like when I'm 20? When I was 20, I was like, everything is new for a couple of years. But then you get to like 21, 22, 23, and things start slowing down, slow. They start becoming more predictable, more and more predictable, because you get into kind of into a rhythm. Okay, I've experienced this, I've experienced that. Yeah. You kind of get into a routine. Sounds very doesn't sound very sexy. Oh yeah, same thing. Life now, yeah, you know, man. It is what it is. Let's accept it. Okay. So my predictive powers have actually, there is a straight correlation between the increase of my predictive powers and the increase of my ability to stick to my plan. What a nice sentence. Sounds like I'm almost like some sort of a scientist now. Anyway, I want to keep this podcast a bit more serious, at least for as long as I can. Okay, so that's just one observation for you guys. Now, why am I saying this? The further you can see into the future or imagine the future. Why has this helped me? Me personally. It's helped me because when I see further ahead into the future, obviously see metaphorically, I'm imagining, I'm making stuff up basically. The more I do that, that changes my perspective. My perspective goes from, oh, I want to get these shoes, you know how cool it's gonna be, yeah, next week if I get them, yeah, blah blah blah. My perspective goes to, oh, when I'm 30, I want to be this and that. So I kind of put myself into my shoes when I'm 30. And when I put myself there, the shoes that I want to get tomorrow, they're like, I'm not even thinking about them. Does that make sense? I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking about completely different things, bigger things. I don't want the only thing that I have when I'm 30 to be like 2 more pairs of shoes, or, you know what I'm trying to say. I want something bigger. I'm imagining, oh, by 30, I'm going to have everything worked out. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. So that, me imagining this, and kind of the closer you get, you kind of realize, well, if things continue the way they are, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting where I want to get to. So then you come back and you bring back that intensity from the future, you can call it. So you're traveling in time. You come back here and you realize, hey, what is 1 year of sacrifice and suffering compared to a lifetime of regret? I'm putting it, this is a bit exaggerated, but for some people, there are some instances where it might be exactly like this. Think about it. What is 3 years of sacrifice and living uncomfortably yeah, sacrificing this, sacrificing that, not having this, not having that, giving up on this, giving up on that, by giving up I mean like fun, alcohol, this, that, like enjoyable things. But what is a couple of years of that compared to then you being, compared to getting to 30 or to 40, whatever age is in your head, where you expect that you would kind of have everything sorted out, that everything's going to be good by that age. I don't know about you. I personally think like, I think it's a normal thing. Everyone kind of imagines their life, imagines themselves at certain age. And, yeah, when I'm this, I want to have this, and they're like, yeah, when I get there, everything's gonna. For me, that age is like 30. I don't know why I have it. I'm not saying by 30 I'm gonna be like, everything is gonna be the best ever for me. The best it will ever be, or that I'm gonna be the best version of myself ever. But I set these goals a long time ago, and I've said by 30 I need to have this, and this done. That's it. The closer I've gotten to it, to that age, I can see, hey, if I don't put a ridiculous amount of hard work consistently, I'm not getting it. And time is pressuring me. I count the days. I've got like 1,200 or 30, 1,200 days. That's not a lot if you think about it. You can only make so much money. You can only train so many times. Time is ticking. The more you push stuff into the future, you're not benefiting. Understand that the regret is gonna eat you alive. It's depending on the intensity of your ambition, obviously. If you have no ambition, not to be fair, if you have no ambition, I don't even know why you're listening to me. Maybe you like me a lot, maybe I'm your friend or whatever, but I don't really see why you'd listen to me talking if if you have no ambition. Because for a person that has no ambition, listening to me, I feel like it's going to be a bit depressing, because all I talk about is just like things that require a bit of ambition. But then again, I can spin it another way. Think about it this way. You're not ambitious. Okay, no ambition. Think about it this way. Do you want to be that selfish? Do you think you, at this point in time, is like the most important you there ever will be? Or what about your future self? You're not thinking about your future self with the actions that with what you're doing now. Your actions say basically fuck you to your future self. You smoke, you drink all the time, or whatever it is that you do. You spend all the money that you have, you live recklessly. So what are you saying to your future self? I don't give a fuck. I don't care about you. Yeah, we'll see what happens. This is selfish. It is selfish. Like, I know now someone might get a bit defensive and go, oh, blah, blah, blah. You only live once. Tomorrow is not promised. Oh, that bullshit. Yeah, of course it's not promised. Well, because it's not promised, yeah, why not go climb Mount Everest and do it in shorts and wearing sandals? Why not? Tomorrow is not promised. Just go and do it. It's just, go skydive. No parachute though. Or shit like this, it doesn't make sense. So I know tomorrow is not promised, but still, detach yourself. Don't be selfish. I know the pull. I can feel it. Half of the things that I'm saying on these podcasts, it's not like I'm giving you advice. I'm giving you advice looking down. Half of the things I'm saying is stuff that I'm going through as well. So I kind of I'm both talking to you, and I'm kind of like talking to myself. As you can see, 95% of the time my talk is like positive. Maybe it's got like a negative tone to it sometimes, but its only goal is to kind of light up the fire a little bit, you know, a bit of a spark, because you're gonna need that. There is a lot of energy required to get things done. And even for me now, I'm saying this as if I've got it. Yeah, my New Year is, everything's, you know, less rock and roll. It's not. I need to kind of get this in my head as well, because I've just come off a year where basically almost everything I did was what I just said now. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. Take away this from myself, take away that from myself. Not allow myself to do this, not allowing myself to do that. Just sacrifice after sacrifice. Work, 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 work. No free time. No. So it's when I think about the work that I've done that past year, as much as it's obviously, it's like, yeah, that was good, you know, I had a good year. You know, a lot of people go, yeah, that year was good, next year is going to be the best one. The amount of work that I did in 2024, when I think back, I'm like, when I think back about 24 now, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to beat that? I'm literally, I've got a bit of a headache thinking about it. So I need to find that spark within me that is going to push me to go even harder this year, better than the last. Try and beat it, although it's almost impossible. How do I beat a year? This now, I'm dragging you into my personal experience now. How do I beat a year where literally for 11 out of the 12 months, if you count 2 weeks break in the summer, it was less, 11 or 12 days, 11 days in the summer and 13 days for Christmas. So 25 days roughly. Put it, let's say 30 days, because I went back for my mom's birthday and when I got injured, as we all know, I went back for 2 days twice. So 30 days. So for the other 335 days, all the free time I had is once a week, Saturday evening. Pretty much that's it. Everything else, I was full. From the moment I wake up till I go to bed, I'm pretty much full. And I need to find a way to beat that. Anyway, I don't want to drag you. You see, that sounds a bit depressing. For me, it's this. For you, might be something else. Maybe for you, you just cannot find that motivation, that driving factor to actually make a change. Maybe you don't believe that you can make a change, but you have to. You have to, whether you're young, old. Remember, look around, look at other people. Try and look at someone, you know, just do a little bit of an experiment. That experiment is going to involve just you observing, being a bit more observant. Look around at everyone that you know, or pick 10 people and kind of try and note how they start this year, what they, you know them, yeah? So you know what they can do, what they can't do, you know this, you know. Try and kind of see what they are at the beginning of next year. Did they learn something new? Did they read a lot of books? What did they do? What's different about them? Okay? What's something new that they've added to themselves, to their character, person, anything, interest, whatever. Okay? Once you do that, or maybe even you can do it kind of retrospectively, just looking back. Okay? Look back at the year 23 or 24. What did they change? What did they add? What was the new big thing? If there is nothing, that tells you enough. Then imagine if you put in the work and add something. Imagine the difference. Add something new. Start. Add something new. Imagine how much this is going to separate you from everyone else. Because everyone else just kind of let life happen to them. Just, whatever comes my way, kind of, yeah. We'll see what I'm going to do. They don't go out and approach things. Go out kind of with a plan. Okay, I'm doing this. Next steps, this, and this. Just see how many people do that. Then they're not being very smart or strategic. You need to have a more strategic approach if you wanna get somewhere. As I've said before, if you just listen to your feelings, what I feel like doing today, what I feel like doing tomorrow, you know where you end up? Nowhere, because feelings change constantly. And imagine following a map that is constantly changing. Are you gonna get to the treasure? Probably not, because the map constantly leads you here, there, changes, like your feelings. Now imagine if your map is based on a strategy, well thought out plan. Okay, I'm gonna do this. This is most likely gonna take me there. If not there, it's gonna take me there. Okay, if it takes me here, I'm doing this and that. If it takes me the other way, I'm doing this and that. Okay, with contingencies and everything. Nice strategic approach to what you're doing. You're gonna take into consideration this, and this, and you're gonna make that master plan, and you're gonna stick to it. Imagine the difference. And as bad as it is, not bad but difficult, because it is difficult. I know it's difficult. As difficult as it is, just think about, obviously now this is, some people are not going to find this relatable. I feel like, with the risk of sounding a bit arrogant or whatever, condescending, you need to be at a certain level mentally to be able to realize that with that master plan, or if you go about your life with a plan, with a strategy, and if you're actually sticking to it, as much as it's painful and there is a lot of sacrifice and things that you don't enjoy but you have to do, as much as you've got that, there is a huge amount of peace that comes with it, because you have the sense of control, that you're controlling your life, you're in control, you know what's happening. That sense of control is gonna make you calmer than almost control. That's kind of, it's a bit paradoxical. Humans, like, we're basically nothing, yet we all desire, we all want to have this sense of control, as if we kind of, we've got everything is under control, that's fine, I can deal with this. That sense of control is so important to us for whatever reason. It makes you just calmer. It just makes you calm because you're in control. It's the same thing when you learn to fight. You become calmer, at least maybe that's my experience. You don't get stressed at all at any point, regardless of what's happening. Okay? It's easier for you to, confrontations, arguments, they become much more easy for you because you're calm. You're like, well, if it comes down to it, I can at least defend myself a little bit. You know what I mean? Imagine if you cannot. You're like, oh shit, what if this happens? I kind of don't know. So no sense of control, more stress. Higher sense of control, less stress. So as I said, sacrifice, my discomfort, pain. Pain is a real thing, but you get that. Maybe you get peace. You find peace there. A lot of people, they can't see it because they're so far off. For a lot of people, for the majority, like this thing called discipline and sacrifice. It's like, oh, yeah, I know. They appreciate it, especially older people. Yeah, you need to be disciplined. That's when you know someone's kind of stopped developing, and that they're kind of just, because they don't want to take, they don't want to, when they talk about discipline, they only talk about, oh, the younger generation. You. They don't want to take responsibility. Yeah, hey, I need to. Where is my discipline? Yeah, what's happening with this? Am I living up to the standard that I am trying to set for other people? A lot of older people, they don't really. Which I hope I never become like this, you know? If I have kids, I'll never ask them to do anything that I'm not doing, to be honest. Although, you're not, that's just me. That's just me. I'd want to be able to keep them accountable. But how you keep someone accountable if you're not keeping yourself accountable? That's the problem. Anyway, I don't want to drift off topic too much. So that new year, it's already been like 10 days. Okay? Keep going. Even if necessary, write down what you're gonna do. What's the plan? My advice is, as always, sacrifice that year. Say, you know what, this year I'm just gonna sacrifice it. I'm gonna sacrifice it for the greater good of my future. I'm gonna work like a slave. I'm gonna be like a slave for my future self. Can you imagine getting to that point mentally to be able to do that? Maybe not, because it's difficult. It's difficult to imagine this. I was like, oh, what the hell, fuck that. But then imagine if you actually manage to get yourself to that level of mentally. Imagine the work that you can possibly do, eh? Is that not a bit exciting? The amount of work you can learn a new language easily for a year, easily. I'm saying, even if it's Japanese, easy. You can read one book a week. For a lot of people, one book a week is too much. You can read one book a month. 12 books later, you're a different person. Unless the books are like Harry Potter and whatever. Something dumb. 12 books, if you pick the books properly. And I've said it before, but I'm probably going to do a podcast with the best books I've read. Maybe like a top 20 maybe or something. I need to sit down and actually think about. Anyway, books, okay? Or save a bit of money or start a second job. Imagine you doing fine or whatever. If you're working or if you're going to school, yeah, start learning something extra or start doing a sport because you're young. You want to do more things, okay? Because it's easier when you're young. You're still kind of playing with the house's money. The older you get, it's gonna require a bigger investment. Maybe you don't have time for this. You don't have time. It becomes much more difficult to start new things, okay? So if you're still going to school, let's say, just to cover the whole fucking age, whole age groups covered here. If you're in school, still do something. It's easy for you to learn. You know what I did when I was in school? I kind of got interested in philosophy. Look at me now. I'm not saying, like, look at me now. Not that I've done something like, wow, something unimaginable. I've achieved unheard of success. Like, wow, unbelievable. Not that, but I mean, I kind of just got my feet wet a little bit. Yeah, had my first taste of philosophy. Now, 250 books later, genius, playboy, philanthropist. I'm joking. This is this is Tony Stark, not me. If you don't know who Tony Stark is, then you need to kind of need to brush up on your superhero knowledge. But anyway, yeah, 250 books later, imagine I'm a different beast. But yeah, if you're not in school, do something. Worst case scenario, like if you don't want to read books, okay, that's you. Okay, you do you. You know, not reading books is a bad thing. Learn a new language. Get in shape. Get in shape. Start learning a new sport. Just do something that is gonna benefit you mentally or physically. Okay, one of the two. Don't go, yeah, for my mental health. Yeah, just when I do this, I'm calm, and because of that, you just started like I can't even think of something. What do people do when they say that? Play games. I'm relaxing. Okay, mate. Anyway, my point is something that is positive, that's making you either smarter or stronger and fitter. Hopefully, you can do something that's making you smarter, something that's making you fitter and stronger, and also something that's making you richer or whatever. Yeah. Let's say you don't want to get in shape, you don't want to get a second job. Can you do that? Get something else, yeah. Because if you can live with the money that you've got now, imagine you start working a second job, you start making a bit extra, maybe start saving it, start putting it into something. You need to look after your future self, okay? Because otherwise you're relying too much on career progression. Even if it's possible, it's too much, it's too risky. Okay, a lot of people, you can see a lot of famous people, the ones that rely too much on career and on that their ability to make money, kind of sometimes, you know, end up not in a good place financially if you don't kind of make sure that they're set up with the investments, with this, that. Look at all these athletes, make a lot of money, and then you always have some of them, they ended up broke because they were doing stupid things. They thought, oh, I'm making money now, I'm gonna be making money forever, you know. So that's another thing. But all these things, I really wanted to come here and kind of try and make you see that it's a good thing to sacrifice a year and to just try and push as hard as possible, like try and just literally push like a slave, like a horse. That's what I wanted to talk about mostly. But then I keep going into those more practical advices. But then again, maybe I'm not the most motivational person on the planet anyway, so I need to kind of use my strengths. What are my strengths? Yeah, maybe it's a bit more practical, giving you practical advice. I don't know, maybe some people like practical advice. Me, I'm not. I'm more like the opposite. I don't like people like David Goggins. He's not giving me any practical advice most of the time. He's talking about the things that are in here. The practical stuff, I'm going to work that out. Don't worry about that. I'll find the things that I need. I'm not David Goggins. I cannot replicate it. I can give you a lot of advice. See, our video is now full of things that you can do. Hopefully some ideas for you. The main point is this. You need to be able to see beyond next month, beyond this year, hopefully beyond 2 years. Look ahead, reverse engineer, find out what you need to do. Understand that when you're looking back, I don't want to make generalizations based on me, because I'm not really the most accurate representative of like the normal person. But when you look back, you want to be able to look back and be proud of what you've done and how you've done it. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we've talked about it. When you look back, you might not have reached the goals that you wanted to, in terms of career, family, everything else, money, whatever. But what you want to be able to do is you want to look back and say, I left nothing on the table. The way I acted, I'm happy with the way I conducted myself. I'm happy. It didn't work out, but I don't regret it, because I know I did everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. That's been my mindset so far. And that's why, although I have these ridiculously big goals and I'm ambitious beyond measure, but still, have I done something supernatural yet? No. Why am I so calm and still confident? Two options. I'm either maybe not all there, or I know, listen, I've done everything. I'm leaving no stones unturned. I've done everything, and I keep raising the level every year, pushing more and more and more to the best of my knowledge and my ability. So that's why I'm calm. I'll get there, because I keep doing everything, and I know how hard it is. Because before I did, I've been normal. Again, don't want to sound condescending here. Like, I'm a normal human. I know how it feels to not to want to do things. Did I say I'm a normal human being? I used to be a normal human being. No more. Now I'm like half machine. Cyborg. But I know how this all feels. You know, there is a book, not The Art of War, The War of Art, I think it's called. Steven Pressfield. That's the same guy that wrote Gates of Fire, about the Spartans. One of the best books ever that I've read. Beautiful. Especially taking into consideration how much the story of the Spartans mean to me. So that book, the War of Art, he's talking about this force that exists. It's invisible, you know. You can almost compare it to gravity a little bit. You cannot see it, you can't touch it, but you can feel it. Okay, it's there. So what the force that he's talking about is resistance. Okay, you have resistance in your life. Everything that you have, everything that you want to do, you're gonna encounter some resistance. It's like this force that is counteracting whatever you're doing. You've got this force that is against you, and that you need to be stronger than. You need to beat it in order to get to what you want to do. Okay? So imagine that force, imagine that resistance. It's always in your face, you know. You cannot see it, but it's always there. I want to do my homework now. You can feel the resistance. Oh, why am I not doing it? Is the resistance beating me? Imagine the force. Evil. You can imagine yourself to be, I'm a force of good. You need to be stronger than that. Okay? So that's a good book. So I know how all these things. I know them. I know how they feel. So still, you have to be positive and be able to. Is that fight? That's a winnable fight for you. Oh, resistance. Oh, am I gonna get beaten by like an imaginary force? Fuck no. I'm winning. Yeah. Not today, not me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Even if it feels like the worst thing ever, I'm still doing it. Just because I'm that guy. You know, I'm that type of person. I don't care. I'm a machine. Yeah. You don't know me. Yeah. Other people fault, not me. That's just some self-talk. Hey, imagine how many times I've said this to myself. I wake up in the morning, 20 past 6, and I'm like, what? And it's like day unknown, year unknown. Because for years, like how many days? Like no days off, no days off, no days off, no days off. And I wake up and it's basically like the same day as yesterday, the same day that I'm gonna have tomorrow as well. And I still need to find the motivation. Like, okay, nothing's happening. I'm not seeing any results, you know, at least external, you know. I'm not all of a sudden rich. I haven't succeeded in whatever I wanted to succeed yet. Yeah. Am I moving forward? Well, I don't know. You know, all these doubts. But then you still need to, you learn to face them. And you're like, not me. You're not going to break me. A bit of resistance is nothing to me. You know, a couple of setbacks. So what that is slow? So what that I'm not seeing results? Am I going to break because of that? Or if you think that I'm going to, I don't even know who I'm talking to. I'm just talking trash to someone in my head. Maybe let's say I'm talking to that force resistance. I'm saying, not me. You don't know me. That's nothing to me. If you want, yeah, I can go for 100 years and see no results and still keep going with the same motivation, yeah, and with the same desire and confidence. Just stuff like that. Unrealistic, crazy. But it's just, it pumps me up. I'm like, yeah, that's it, let's go. But that's probably like a masculine thing. Maybe I've got good levels of testosterone or whatever. Maybe if you're a girl, you don't really feel that. You're like, I don't know. I've got no idea what it feels like to be a girl, so I'm not gonna comment. Maybe some people can. I can't. I only know what it's like to be a man. Yeah. What else? We've got another 50 minutes in almost. Hey, also, can you see how much clearer my thoughts are today? I feel like I haven't stuttered not even once almost. Obviously, a couple of sentences could have been a bit sharper, but just overall, I feel like I haven't done bad now. But then I'm not watching this back. I can't watch it back anymore. I watched back the first couple of episodes, but then after that, I'm like, oh, yeah. But anyway, you know what I did before I started this podcast? It wasn't maybe the best thing to do, but I watched The Last Samurai again, one of my favorite movies of all time, together with 300 and a couple others. Maybe I talk about my favorite movies another time. The Last Samurai, Bushido. That's what the samurai knew that no one else really. He's going over everyone else's heads. People don't appreciate it anymore. Bushido, the way of the warrior. The samurai code of conduct. Okay? Honor. What is honor? How they lived. If you're ever lacking motivation, just read about the samurai. And actually imagine, or reading about it, yeah, it's fine, but you need to watch something that is going to impact you emotionally. That's why movies are sometimes very good, even if they're not the most accurate or whatever, but they're going to have an emotion, if the movie is good, of course. They're going to have an emotional impact to a certain extent on you. Which, one sec. Okay. The emotional impact is going to be important. Okay? It's important. Emotions push you. Now, do you need to listen to them in terms of what direction to go? No, not really. But do you need to kind of use them as fuel? Yes. So movies, that's why they're important. But the emotional impact. Just imagine how they lived, these guys. Okay? And all that in accordance to a certain set of moral principles. And they dedicated their lives to perfecting, mastering their craft, and to applying themselves fully to whatever they believed in, living and dying by it, with no hesitation, no regret. That's a key word. Applying yourself fully to something like that, kind of hesitation starts to disappear a little bit from your life. And hesitation is a massive thing. At least hesitation has been a big thing for me. Now I'm a bit better at dealing with it now, but before, it was a big thing. I would hesitate. The only times I didn't hesitate was when I was playing football. Maybe because I was in a state of flow. And I always took the right decision at the exact time that I had to. Every time I was 1v1 with the keeper, I was very calm. I wasn't really hesitating. It was just good anyway. But hesitation. And the samurai, they live with no hesitation, almost. At least the best of them. Can you imagine if you're supposed to take your own life to regain your honor, okay? Obviously, this is one of the rituals, the seppuku. Once you've been shamed, you've lost, okay? You've lost a battle or a duel, or you've lost your master, or you've made a mistake. Okay, the shame of failure and defeat is unbearable to you. So in order to kind of recover from it, not to recover, but to regain your honor, because you failed. For them, that's a big thing. They failed. To regain their honor, they kill themselves by can I say kill themselves? I don't know. Anyway, I guess I can. They perform the seppuku, that ritual killing. Anyway, and they need to face death. It's ultra painful, obviously, because they cut themselves open. Do I need to explain that stuff? Yeah, maybe whatever. We're already there. No one's watching it 1:55 minutes in. Anyway, I'm probably talking to myself. So they kill themselves, but they show no pain, so they can face death with bravery, and by doing so, they kind of regain their honor in death, because they face death with no fear. Now imagine you time to do something like that. How much time are you gonna spend? Oh, but so many of them are like, yeah, accept it. They accept it. There is no but why not tomorrow? Why not? But no. Imagine the samurai. Let's just go over just quickly. How many more times am I gonna go over these things? I don't know. So the 8 virtues of Bushido, as we discussed. Bushido, the way of the warrior. What is it? So I've got them in front of me now, because I'm getting better at using Google while I'm recording. Anyway, the virtues of Bushido. Righteousness. Be acutely honest throughout your dealings with all people. Believe in justice, not from other people, but from yourself. Again, we're talking about you're honest to yourself. You demand things of yourself. Notice how everything is directed internally. To the true warrior, all points of view are deeply considered regarding honesty, justice, and integrity. Warriors make a full commitment to their decisions. Full commitment to their decisions. That's the first one. Heroic courage. Second one. Hiding like a turtle in a shell is not living at all. A true warrior must have heroic courage. It is absolutely risky. It is living life completely, fully, and wonderfully. Heroic courage is not blind. It is intelligent and strong. Okay, this is a bit of waffling here. The guy that's explained it, yeah, courage, yeah. You have the courage to live, live life that was well said, fully and wonderfully. Just live your life. Have the courage to actually do things, yeah. Just live. Don't worry about this, that, again, hesitation. Comes down to hesitation again a little bit. Next, benevolence, compassion, more so compassion. Through intense training and hard work, the true warrior becomes quick and strong. They are not as most people. They develop a power that must be used for good. They have compassion. They help their fellow men at every opportunity. If an opportunity does not arise, they go out of their way to find one. This is what being compassionate means, yeah? There you go out of your way to help. Again, let's take into consideration this is one iteration of the Bushido. The Bushido, the samurai code of honor, it evolved throughout the years. The samurai were around for like 300 years almost, okay? So it was individual to a certain extent. It was, it varied from clan to clan and obviously over through the ages. 200, 300 years is a long time. Just look at the difference that the world was, how different was the world 10 years ago from today, and 50 years ago. I can't even say, but I know from my elementary knowledge of history was massively different. Okay, maybe people say technology, but yeah, still, it might 250 years compared to 50. So this is just one interpretation, but what you need to get out of it is just like the overall theme. Yeah. Next one, respect. True warriors have no reason to be cruel. They do not need to prove their strength Warriors are not only respected for their strength in battle, but also by their dealings with others. The true warrior strength, I'm making stuff up. The true strength of a warrior becomes apparent during difficult times because they keep preparing for difficult times. They're not just sitting around. Honesty, very important. When warriors say that they will perform an action, it is as good as done. As good as done. That's it, honesty. But that is also honesty. You're honest with yourself. You say something and you do it. You're not lying to yourself. Because when no one else is watching and you say, yeah, I'm going to do that. Today I'm going to clean my room. And then you don't clean your room. You weren't honest with yourself. Why? Why would you lie to yourself? So, it's as good as done. Nothing will stop them from completing what they say they will do. They do not have to give their word. They do not have to promise. Speaking and doing are the same action to a real samurai. How beautiful is that sentence? Speaking and action is the same thing to a samurai. Honor, there you go, honor, that magical word. Honor is a big word. It's a big word itself. I feel like honor is almost like that's a complex concept. Yeah, we might break it down next time. Anyway, honor. Warriors have only one judge of honor and character, and this is themselves. Decisions they make and how these decisions are carried out are a reflection of who they truly are. You cannot hide from yourself. That's a fact. That's a fact. You cannot hide from yourself. Again, it comes down to yourself, being honest with yourself. Okay? The outside world is the outside world. How things appear, what people think of you, that's one thing. What actually is another. Duty and loyalty. Warriors are responsible for everything that they have done and everything that they have said and know of the consequences that follow. They are immediately loyal to all of those in their care. To everyone that they're responsible for, they remain fiercely true. Okay, that's loyalty. And also self-control, which is self-explanatory. Associated virtues, filial piety, obviously, yeah, family and all this. Wisdom, fraternity, duty. Anyway, we can continue another time. Whoops, sorry. I feel like I covered most things. We got another podcast done. Okay. We might continue. Maybe we break down honor in one of the next episodes. Honor, that's a big word. I like breaking words. I like checking the definitions, being very accurate with words and all this, because you can always learn something new, and then you can use all these words properly, not just throw them around. I don't like when people just throw stuff around, like big words, big thing, just they don't really know. Okay. All right. It's 12 o'clock, midnight. I need to go. But yeah, we're done. Honor, duty and loyalty, compassion, heroic courage, the samurai. The samurai needs to continue sharpening the katana sword. Okay? Me being the samurai, the katana sword being my skills. And chasing what I need to be chasing my ideals, chasing perfection in what I do, although you might never reach it. But as Katsumoto said in The Last Samurai, the perfect blossom is a rare thing. You can spend your whole life looking for one, and it would not be a wasted life. And with this, I'm gonna finish my podcast because it was the perfect ending. Thanks for watching, listening, or whatever, liking, subscribing, everything else. I really appreciate it. It is appreciated. Slowly but surely, we're moving forward. And yeah, I'll be back next week. Goodbye.